It's an important day for Volkswagen India because they have just rolled off the first production ready Taigun off the assembly line and have opened pre-bookings as well. Now this is a very crucial product in the company's India 2.0 strategy, and talking to me about this and more is Ashish Gupta, who is the brand head of Volkswagen in India. Ashish, thanks so much for talking to us, and congratulations. So another important step towards reaching the showroom.
Yes.
So just a quick thing, has everything gone according to plan? I mean, you know, we saw the car, we saw the launch, we did the media drive, we've written about it. And is this on track, or has there been a few delays because of COVID?
Oh, Hormazd, you know, if everything went to plan, we were not needed. Yeah, we are needed to keep everything on plan.
Right.
Yeah? So I think that's something which we, along with the team, have been able to do. The challenges have been multiple. You know, not to speak about the COVID, which everybody knows about, the global supply chain shortages that there are right now. So it brought in a lot of pressure in terms of the timelines and in terms of how the preparation for the product launches has been. But kudos to the team. We are here today at the Chakan plant, and really brilliant team effort to still keep the plans on track.
Yeah, that's this next part I wanted to come to is the whole semiconductor issue, which has globally you know, caused a lot of chaos in the auto industry. How do you kind of let's say, you know, plan for that, especially when you've got a product like this which is fairly high volumes?
Yeah.
Is that also one of the big challenges?
It is. In fact, it is the main challenge right now. You know, you talked about planning, and production facility works on at least a 3 months planning stability kind of you know, outlook. But currently, if you look at the situation, you do not even have a 1 week or 2 week planning stability. So that's the kind of situation everybody is in. It's not only with us, it's with every manufacturer right now across the world. There's at least a 30 to 40% shortage on that. So that's something which I think will be a continuous challenge going forward as well. So every week, every 2 weeks, it's a fight to make sure that all the components are there to keep the production going. But so far, so good.
Before I get into the Taigun, just sticking to the supply chain issues and the, you know, the real supply constraints, is there any silver lining in that, in the fact that, you know, the product pipeline is much shorter with let's say the network discounting is less? It's an opportunity to kind of let's say, you know, stabilize the network at least.
You know, being a sales guy, I would like to sell as many cars as possible. So from that extent, I would say that there's an opportunity which is being missed right now. The market is hot. You could have sold much more cars than we are currently. In fact, if you look at my Polo and Vento pipeline itself, I have an order bank of close to 2 months. Yeah, so unprecedented, 2 months order bank for a Polo and the Vento. Similarly, in the industry also has huge back orders from our customer orders with them currently. So definitely an opportunity which the industry could have cashed in on. But at the same time, as you said, yes, somebody's loss is somebody's gain. So I think, yes, discounting is lesser in the market. That does give you an opportunity to at least, you know, stabilize your network, as you said, and also keep your plans on track for the future.
Right. And, you know, just looking at the shortage issues and the supply issues, when do you foresee things to improve? Will it be another 6 months or so?
See, I do not have a crystal ball to say that, Hormazd, but, you know, it's about next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. So right now the visibility is for the next 6 months itself. Yeah? In the next 6 months, whether the global supply chains ease up, whether more manufacturing capacity comes up, or the demand in some segments goes down. So all these factors will play into how the situation develops over the next 6 to 9 months.
And have you had to kind of rejig certain variants because of the chip shortage, in the sense that, you know, certain high-end variants where you need many more chips for some of the features?
See, I think we have been lucky in that sense that we have a global organization which also understands that we are launching new cars. Yeah? We are ramping up our production. So the whole organization has been very supportive in making sure that our requirements are prioritized. We have not changed our product plans or our variant plans as such.
Right. Coming to the car, you know, obviously you've launched after a fairly successful start of the Kushaq.
Yeah.
Now it is the sister car, and obviously you know, you are just coming after that. Any lessons learned? I mean, have you got the benefit of being the second mover in this space? And, you know, just to understand what sort of positioning are we going to be looking at vis-a-vis the Kushaq? I mean, we've seen that between Vento and Rapid. Is it going to be something similar?
Yeah. So I think my sister brand team did a very good job, I think, to bring the car under very difficult circumstances. The situation when they launched the car was even tougher than what it is right now. So kudos to them, they've done an excellent job. What I think it also provides me, if you talk about a second mover advantage, actually we moved much faster in Auto Expo, and we brought the car in its full glory and almost a production ready car in the Auto Expo itself. So customers knew that the Taigun is also coming. So it's something which we used pretty well. And I think we synergized well with our sister brand as well to make sure that we do not eat into each other's space, but feed into each other's success. That's how the two brands work together globally as well, and that's the culture we have built here as well.
Yeah, no, but just sticking on anything you've learned or picked up after the response to the Kushaq, because I'm sure you're watching that closely and you know that, and how do you plan to position yourself against?
So on the lessons learned, I think you can learn as many lessons as you want, but the final thing will only come out in whether the car is a success or not.
Right.
So you will understand when we launch the car and when we bring the car to the market whether those lessons have been learned,
Okay.
if there were any lessons to be learned.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. Obviously, you have learned something, but anyway, we can talk about that at some other time when the car comes out. Just coming to the segment now, Ashish.
Yeah.
I mean, this seems to be actually a very lucrative segment in the sense that there are not too many players, really two big ones. And also the size of the car, there's a certain kind of, how do I say, I would imagine there's a good profitability on it. So is this, I mean, is that one of the reasons that you really picked this segment for India 2.0?
No, I think you have to also look at what the platform of the car is. That it's the MKB A0 platform, global platform. So the size of car is also dictated by the platform that you bring in.
Right.
Yeah? So that's number one. Number two, why did we choose this platform? Of course, you have to be in the heart of the market. You have to look at what segment is growing. The mid-size SUV segment has been growing close to 90% over the last 2 years. So it's a huge segment right now. And as you said, the options available to the customers are also limited in this segment. So our entry into this segment, I am 100% confident will actually end up growing the segment even more. So right in the right moment, right segment with the right product.
Right. So, just sticking to the segment, looking at the structure of it, two strong Koreans with really high numbers. I mean, what is your aspiration? Obviously, you don't have the breadth of powertrains and options, so I would imagine it would be somewhat more limited. But is there anything you can say you'd be happy with? Obviously, I don't think you're aspiring to be number one in this segment, or not yet, or if you are, that would be great. Yeah.
No, I think, see, I would answer that in two parts. Again, being a sales guy, I would like to sell as much as possible. Yeah, that's number one. Number two is we have to look at it practically also in the sense that, as you said, what powertrains are we bringing in, what kind of options are we providing to the customers, what kind of a network do I have. So the network that I have right now is around 150 touch points. By the end of the year, we'll be reaching 150. Has a selling capability of 100,000 cars. Yeah, so that's what my network can sell, all models put together. If I have to go above that, I have to start looking at new touch points. That clearly gives you a signal on what our aspiration is.
Right.
Now coming to this specific product, I'm very confident that we will be able to do 5,000 to 6,000 cars a month.
5,000 to 6,000 cars a month.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a big number, and that is a commitment, or let's say not a statement from Ashish. So that would be very encouraging, and big volumes, probably it would take your volumes quite high. And tell me, what do you see? How do you see the market shaping up? Now we've come out of the second wave. Lockdown restrictions are easing. So in sense of timing, you've timed it at the right time. Do you see a lot of revenge buying? Do you see a lot of people buying it to travel much longer distances than they used to? What do you see? I mean, how excited are you about the potential, and which direction do you see the overall market going as well?
Now, the segment, it's in the market itself is in front of everybody. The market has been on a high right from the start of this year. In fact, 3 months, into the last quarter of last year as well. If you see the market growth in the first 7 months, the market itself has grown 90% same period last year. I know it's not a good comparison. 2020 was not a good comparison in terms of the lockdowns happening at the same time. But lockdowns happened this year as well. So in spite of that, the market is up 90% compared to Jan to July 2020. In fact, over 2019 similar period as well, you see a 15% growth. The market is definitely on a high. A lot of enablers that are helping it. One is, of course, the consumer preferences have changed. The consumer behavior is no more towards personal mobility, which I think is driving this kind of a behavior right now. The second thing which is helping us is in terms of the finance availability in the market. Liquidity is high. Yeah, interest rates are at a low. So if you were paying an EMI 5 years ago for a car, in the same EMI you can buy a bigger and a newer car. Yeah, so that facilitates the customer to go for a buy. The third thing which is also happening is that many customers are now going for multiple cars in their families. Yeah, I see a drop in replacements happening, or your old car, giving your old car and buying a new car,
buying an additional
car. So that has increased manifold, because everybody wants in their family to have an individual car for as many members as they can.
Right. But do you think a dampener is the rocketing fuel prices? Is that an issue? I mean, how do you see that?
Somewhere it will hit, Hormazd, if I'm honest. Somewhere it will start having an effect, but I don't see that effect right now.
Right. And, finally, looking at the future, you've got a sedan coming. I mean, it's a well-known thing. Any timeline? We heard it could have been at the Auto Expo, but the Auto Expo is postponed.
Yeah.
Will you still stick to that timeline of
we are
maybe February and 2020, and we can see the car in February 2020?
We are sticking to that timeline. So we are right now discussing on what kind of alternate formats we can do once the Auto Expo has been now postponed. So we will be starting production of the car somewhere around February or March. We will then have a market introduction in the end of April. Yeah.
Right.
So that's our plan.
Right. Well, I think Ashish, very exciting. Thanks so much for talking to us, and really wish you all the best.
Thank you, Hormazd.
It's a cracker of a product.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to driving it more and more.
Thank you so much, Hormazd. Always a pleasure.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye.